Hello everyone, I'm Silverraptor and welcome to another Wargame Red Dragon replay commentary video. I have for you a map on straight to the point and I will be playing Red 4 with a Red Dragon Marine deck. Now, there's something a little unusual. Marine decks are kind of difficult to make due to the fact that a number of nations don't really have a lot of good Marine units that they can bring into a deck. But Red Dragon I found to be pretty well put together. And if those of you are asking for examples of what kind of nations don't do well with Marine decks, well, to anyone who has this game, try creating a Canadian Marine deck, and I'd like to know how amused you guys are when you look at the units that they have available. So I am playing Red 4 since I'm playing a Red Dragon deck, and of course we're going to be squaring off against Michael. It is a 10v10, as you can see from all of these flares that are popped up everywhere. As for me, I am going to be dropping off a command here with these helicopters that I have, which I'll start, and try to secure an airline of defense. Now, this is on ×2 speed, and the reason why is that I'm going to be spending a lot of time out at sea, and the sea tends to be a little slower paced in the game. It's just a little more relaxed and patient. But at the start of this game, right off the bat, we've got Urigan and Smirches aiming right for where the enemy is going to be with their convoy. Now, they have some aircraft in the air, but they get shot down pretty quickly by Comrade and his wonderful fighters. So the enemy is launching, looks like to be a aerial assault with massive amounts of helicopters coming through, whereas our allies, with their ground convoy, is lagging far behind. And as you can see, these helicopters are giving them quite a bit of an advantage at the moment with the planes and such. So this position is not doing too well while the rest of the convoy catches up. However, over here, Buck is bringing in these Schmells. Now, what's so good about these Schmells is that they have a high explosive rocket launcher on them. So essentially, they are, or as I say, rocket artillery. They're essentially rocket truck artillery, but on the sea. So they definitely have quite a bit of good uses in them. Meanwhile, I and some other allies, Buck mainly, secured this island. I put Iglas and some Yokude sniper squads so that we could see around this island and watch out for any aircraft that are coming, because in the meanwhile I am getting everything squared away, and I am bringing out, I am not holding back at the start, the Sovereignty and a Udaloy spawn right at the start. Now, as you can see, the Sovereignty and the Schmel are big difference in size as they sort of rub up against each other coming on in. Backing up these two, I've got Django 3s, which are, all of these are excellent, really good, but expensive Red 4 ships. Now, the difference between a Sovereignty and a Udaloy, because they are the same price, is that the Sovereignty tends to be the more aggressive, attacking ship, and these are the Schmells. All these Schmells together with all these rocket launchers, and they are going to be landing right where the enemy is. Now that is a lot of rocket fire. It's like a rain of rockets coming down. So please check your weather forecast and make sure that you plan an alternative route, trying to make your way, because traffic is going to back up behind the rain of death. Now, getting back to the Sovereignty. The Sovereignty is mainly a more aggressive, I would say, because its anti-radar, anti-plane missiles, I should say, have a much further range. And even though those missiles are primarily used to block anti-ship missiles coming in, this 4 out of 550 range, they can shoot down a lot of helicopters that try to come their way. Now, Rag tried to dislodge Lafayette there, but not a lot of the missiles hit, unfortunately. And meanwhile, the enemy is also doing a ship push of their own, coming down along the right here. And our allies are struggling to try to secure a good, decent enough area, requiring a lot of artillery to just sort of bank up and secure it. Now I'm starting to push forward. I saw that Buck moved up these Hijuans, and these Hijuans have a close-in weapon system, and I figured that those would be pretty good at trying to stop any anti-ship missiles that might be coming in. So I move up my Udaloy, my Jangu, and my Savarmeni up forward. The Udaloy, of course, has an exceptional close-in weapon system, so it's definitely the biggest umbrella when it comes to these surface missiles. And as you can see, those missiles don't even have a chance of getting close to our ships with all these Hijuan and Jangu and Bucks. Missile coming in. None of them are going to hit, especially when they're being fired all willy-nilly, uncoordinated, such as that. So I move up all my 3 Jangus, my Udaloy, and my Savarmeni, as the enemy brings in a lot of anti-ship planes. Now all these missiles still come in, and a number of their planes went down. Now, as a generalized, generally for Red 4 and Blue 4 in the Navy section, since you don't see a lot of it, the Red 4 tend to have better ships. They bring more firepower and more bang for their buck, generally, on the sea. Whereas Blue 4 tends to have better planes, anti-ship planes that can come in and try to sink these ships. So it's kind of a little even trade, it's just a different term. Meanwhile, the enemy's going to move forward with their ships, and there's going to be a massive sea battle. Meanwhile, just keeping an eye on my ships as now they got close enough that the close-in weapon systems are even beginning to fire on these ships. And what it is just stunning them up and damaging them. This Congo's radar operator killed, so he's trying to get up really close to be able to fire, but that just makes him easy pickings for my ships here. Some STRBs with some Hellfire missiles are coming up, and I retreat my Jangus. One of my Jangus does go down, unfortunately. I'm retreating back, trying to avoid the STRB Hellfire missiles, as I managed to looks like successfully, trying to put a more of a concave and more of a defensive position, as the enemy is trying to keep pushing forward, but a lot of their ships have a lot of problems with it, as you can definitely see. Another round of missiles comes forward, takes out some Hijuan from Buck, but I'm moving back my Savarmeni and Jangu as Buck brings in all of those rockets, stunning up and damaging the last of these ships here. And my ships are still within range to be able to fire their main guns as the exchange of fire continues. So a massive sea battle right at the start. I retreated my ships here because bringing in the Muna, I'm going to try to repair and reload these up. The enemy keeps trying to push their ships forward. Now at this point, the ships are kind of pretty thin. Another rocket barrage kills a Lafayette. A Pohang goes down there, and this last one with his propeller hit is not going to get away, as another round of main gun tries to hit it. Is doing pretty well though. Super Pumas helicopters come in, but the defense system from the Udaloy stops that quite well, and the Pohang finally does go down as I bring a CV to go and secure Paul. So in the meanwhile, right here, the enemy has a bunch of ships parked off out here on the right, and I bring in some Fabales. Now these are anti-ship planes. These are actually seed planes. But the thing is that a lot of ships have radar. Well, no, not the Chamsuri. Does the Pohang? Yes, the Pohang. A lot of these ships have radar, especially in their close-in weapon system, but sometimes in their anti-ship missiles. So if either of those are on, and many people don't really turn those off because those are what defend against anti-ship missiles, then seed aircraft and helicopters, like the Ka-52, can actually launch their missiles at those ships. And those missiles do quite a bit of damage to those ships. So if you ever find yourself with a lack of planes to shoot at ships, make sure you check to see if you have any of your seed up, because those can be quite handy. Now I did put a CV here. It's a small little truck boat that just sort of parked right here into the middle of the water, enjoying the nice incoming high tide as the water washes over the bottom of his boat. Buck comes up with reinforcements of Hijuans and Jangus. Kind of a bit more of a shield with my Udaloy and Savarmeni. So we're going to start pushing up together in one massive push as well. Meanwhile, the enemy's ships are battling over here. Some of our allies brought in some ships right here when some enemy ships were still behind, so some of them were sunk. Meanwhile, Miller is bringing forward some OSAs. And this Chamsuri, if those MI4 AVs get too close, that Chamsuri is going to eat them apart with its main gun and its close-in weapon system, and looks like it does. So, oh no, these OSAs are going to die too. Oh, that is a shame. Meanwhile, the enemy apparently did another massive airborne push, but the air defenses and the close-in weapon system. Oh, here comes another massive missile range barrage. They take out the one Jangu, but that leaves the rest of my ships fine. Sovereignty whacked the Lafayette right in the side there, and these two Lafayettes are very damaged. Not going to be doing too well. As I move up further into position to try to create this line and intercept any enemies that might be coming. Now in the middle, we haven't done the middle in a while. It seems like our allies have managed to get a foothold. They're starting to push forward on the right. They managed to cross onto the left, well, at least with these empty 5-point trucks of death. So we're doing pretty well in the center. And the right, the enemy definitely does have, but we're not collapsing, so that is definitely a good sign. Super Pumas are coming back in. My ships are retreating back to the supply. Being forward too long, damaged up and out of missiles does not do anyone any good. But they do assist in stopping the Super Pumas from taking out one of Buck's Hijuans. As more rocket artillery comes in and damages infantry coming in from Ogla. Now the enemy moved some of their ships over here on the right. And they're trying to go and knock out the my allies' push, and they do succeed in making the enemies, my allies, retreat. However, the Pohangs, all ships fire high explosive damage, and these are mainly tanks, so that didn't do quite a whole lot, and that did kind of leave them somewhat exposed to some of our anti-ship fire, which sank both of those ships. Now Super Pumas do another volley, but the air defenses of all the stuff stop all the missiles before they even get close to the Udaloy. So the Super Pumas have to go back again and refuel. So they're definitely using a lot of their fuel trying to get these Super Pumas to take out the ships. But given the spread of the ships and the excellent close-in weapon system and anti-missile defense, they do quite a good job. My Fabeos come in and launch some seed missiles at the Lafayette and actually manage to do quite a bit of damage to them. And one thing about seed missiles, the ship's defense close-in weapon systems do not work against them. Another round of missiles come in, aiming for my Udaloy, and none of them get through. So with all these different air defenses, the close-in weapon system from the Hijuans, the Sovereignty, and all the Jangus, those huge volley of missiles are not able to penetrate and get these tanks. I retreat my Udaloy as he is damaged to try to rest up as I move my two new fresh Jangus, or at least one new Jangu, forward to intercept as this Pohang tries to go on a suicide mission forward. That's a Lafayette goes down. The Pohang is going to be not far behind as a pair of Tomcats fly overhead. That Pohang goes down, and another round of volley from the Lafayette, one Lafayette, while another goes down. Here comes another ship incoming, and none of them get through. Excellent block from the ships right there. As another Lafayette solo against all these ships is not going to have a prayer. So my allies are doing still pretty well on the right, as the enemy keeps trying to knock out my ships with anti-missiles, and they actually do successfully get a Jangu. Enough missiles manage to take it down as it starts sinking to the bottom depths, only to be joined with the ruins of Atlantis. We've got some helicopters knocked out here. So, furthering on, we have another rocket barrage coming in. Here coming in, it looks like he's going to be attacking somewhere in Michael. I guess he's trying to guess where the enemy's CV might be, though it looks like he might have an idea where the FOBs are, so if he can take those out, that will cut in supplies. The enemy does another massive missiles. They're aiming for my Sovereignty, do quite a bit of damage. Another round of missiles just barely gets stopped, and another several of planes go down. Especially since some of them flew too close to the igloos that we have placed on this island. So, yes, they are taking down a few of our ships, but they are losing several planes each time. All thanks to the Sovereignty and its wonderful long-range missiles. The Jangu and the Yuzuloi, they don't have the best range, but the Sovereign definitely is providing good pot shots at those aircraft as they're trying to make their leave. Rocket artillery coming in for the planes as it tends to get to another quiet point. Pohang sitting off on the side there. Recon on the right. Nothing too much happening. The enemy does another barrage with these missiles, but the the intruders do get away. The Super Puma are coming in with their missiles, but some of them get stunned from this artillery, so they fire in two half waves. If those got all together, they probably could have gotten the ship. Meanwhile, Comrade sends a lot of his planes, and with those missiles managed to take out quite a number of these Pumas as they're trying to retreat. So that's a lot of their ship anti-ship ability wiped out. Another rocket barrage landed here on Michael. I think he's still trying to guess where the CV might be to try to dislodge them. Meanwhile, a bunch of Pegasus come in, and I bring in my Fabales right away. Now, Pegasus are a pretty good Blue 4 unit. The problem is they have no defense against missiles. They're just basically a gun on a ship. They have no defenses whatsoever. But these Chateaus who are coming in piecemeal, the Pegasus will make quick work of them. But yeah, if you see Pegasuses, if you're against Pegasuses, go ahead and just send all the anti-ship missiles you can. If you have Pegasuses, make sure you have a bunch of smaller ships like CIWS to defend against. So the enemy is bringing forward some Super Cobras and DAPs. They're trying to take out the air recon that we were using to spot for whatever the enemy might have. The DAPs and Super Cobras are coming along down the side here. So the enemy is trying to probe because they realize that they're not having too much luck dislodging my ships as they're right here. A bunch of missiles take out a couple of CIWS because by themselves those ships are not going to stand against this armada. My allies are starting to push into Fedor, managing to, and are pushing up along the coast here towards Nicholas. Another rocket barrage comes in as a bunch of the anti-ship planes come in. Are they going to get any ships? They managed to blow up a Hejuan, and exploding damage did do quite a bit of damage. But meanwhile, I did retreat my Sovereign and my Utiloid to be repaired by 2 Munas back here. So our ships are resting and repairing. Now I bring in these F-6Cs to try to shoot down some of these Super Cobras and DAPs. Now these are very, very cheap planes, only 40 points, and they shoot rockets out at the enemy, and they die pretty quick. But I'm not too upset about losing at them. They were just trying to shoot a bit, and then at the helicopters here, and then just see what kind of air defenses the enemy has, so I can consider my option. A bunch of Tomcats come through. They're trying to shoot down the plane. Do not succeed. As the MiG-31s from Captain Miller, interceptors, try to take pot shots of this F-15A Eagle. The Eagle goes down, and the MiGs are starting to retreat, but another round of anti-ship planes are coming in. So rather than immediately evacing, he manages to regroup them and allow them to try to shoot down some of the enemy planes. Another round of missiles just barely fails to get my Jangus, so this air defense is still holding strong. Very well done. The enemy's bringing a lot of helicopters in to try to dislodge the push into Fedor, and it looks like they're going to push Brig out of Fedor, so nicely done by them. Here comes another round of planes with their anti-missiles. Sovereign shoots down 1 plane. 2 planes get shot down, and I lose a Jangu. While it was unfortunate to lose a Jangu, 2 planes for 1 Jangu was definitely worth it in terms of points and cost. Now, I think several of their players did leave, so they're getting resupplied with extra planes, but eventually they're going to run out of these planes. I'm sort of kind of keeping a mental note how many planes I shoot down and how many are in each crowd that come in. And if I feel that there's it's thin enough that I could successfully hold off much more of the missile strikes, then I'm probably going to move forward and try to block off this reinforcement point from the sea. Meanwhile, our allies are doing a massive push up here on the left of Nicholas. They've got a bunch of heavy tanks, T-90s, T-80UMs, T-72s, BUs, T-80s, Us. The enemy has some troops here, but these Monostrokes with these nice flank and occupy these woods, so it's not going to work out quite well. I bring in a couple of Fabales. They managed to kill a Patriot. They then come around for another pass to see what other radar might be here in this area. A Patriot does reveal itself. One Fabeo gets out. Another one, unfortunately, stays too long and gets shot down by anti-surface missile. But 2 Patriots down. That definitely allows us to push forward. Another round of missiles. They managed to take out a Tunguska, but I'm not too upset about losing a Tunguska, to be honest, as an F-16 goes down. An Anushka, I should say, not Tunguska. Nanushkas are a cheaper ship. I believe I ran out of the number of Jengas I could bring in, and Anushkas are still pretty good in terms of anti-ship and plane killing power. I bring my ships up. Buck moves his forward, and we managed to shoot down another few of their planes right there. Now these Schmells, don't think they can actually shoot at missiles, but they definitely can shoot at planes if they get too close. So definitely good AA defense there. Courtney seems to have retreated all of his tanks back here, I guess to resupply them, as he was worried. The enemy's sending another round of anti-ship planes coming in. The blocks fly right over ships and get cut to shreds, as even ships are starting to be brought in through this reinforcement point, and lasting less than a second as they are caught in the complete surround of my ships and the Schmells. So one of the ships did manage to take on the Nanushka, so very well done for them. And another round of planes fails to sink these ships. So these ships have been slowly but surely pushing their way in. I finally think it's close enough and the air defense is weak enough that I bring in a B-5, aiming for these 2 supply helicopters, and I take them out and the command vehicle bringing in their reinforcements. For good measure, I bomb this patch of forest here in case they have something hidden, which they don't. And now, no more reinforcements, especially from the sea, can come in through Ogla. So we have definitely secured the side of Nicholas and Ogla and are preparing our landing to be able to bring in reinforcements from this side of the ocean and start pressuring right into the mainland of the enemy. Now the enemy Eva has a Lafayette, but Rag is going to take care of that with all these Super Pumas and these KA-27PLs. These anti-ship helicopters are going to launch a barrage of missiles. Are they going to hit? A lot of them do, and that Lafayette's down to 1 hit. So these KA-27s are going to come in for the finishing blow as they take out the Lafayette. So that is a huge amount of their reinforcement points right there, and the Pegasus gets taken out as we continue bringing our Stranglehold. Comrade brings in a helicopter CV to secure Ogla, and now we've got a direct reinforcement point as well to bring in anti-ship, anti-plane defenses. So these missiles are a whole lot less scary as they're being torn apart by the massive air defense, and that is, I believe, the last of their anti-ship planes. So we definitely own this side of the sea. Now, unfortunately, these ships are big, and what that means is they cannot fit under these bridges. Only riverboats will be able to fit underneath these bridges, and as a marine deck, I don't actually have any riverboats. So they're kind of just stuck on this left side, even though this is well secure. So they just kind of leave them here as sort of a defense in case the enemy pushes back. It will be a lot more difficult. And now I'm going to have to rely more on my planes and my my actual land units, and stop focusing so much on the naval section of this group. Now, Buck did send a bunch of his Mi-4s forward and manages to find the CV and secures it from Maiko. So now the enemy has no reinforcement points, especially since Constantine was taken out, and now it's just a matter of time before the game is over. Now, interesting enough, they do bring in some Zippos. Zippos are interesting for they have a napalm as well as a main gun on them. And they're peppering these Chomahos, but unfortunately, like I said, ships only have a high explosive power, and the front armor of a Chomaho is able to withstand that quite well. So they're not going to do very much very fast. Now I bring in some Yakudes to try to secure Michael, just scatter them around a bit in case the enemy tries to send a Sneevy to try to neutralize or recapture. These Yakudes would be able to intercept and block them. And then my 28 discovers that there are Gurkhas here in this forest, so that is definitely good to know. as the MI4s from Buck come sweeping forward and take out Leonid and take out the CV there. So basically all the enemy has left is a command vehicle somewhere here in Boris. Now I bring in some planes and some helicopters, and we're trying to find out, and here they are. We've got a Rover CP and an Abrams command vehicle. Now my MI8s managed to stun them up. One of the CV does go down, and both CVs go down, but they still have one here in Boris. So that is definitely the last bit that we're going to find as we successfully put the stranglehold on the enemy. And we are massively leading in points too, 43,000 points to 13,000. So very well done. That was the last CV right there, and that is definitely good game as a total victory goes to our team. So very well played. My Udaloy Sovereign ships did excellent job taking out those anti-ship missiles that kept coming in from those planes, wave after wave, volley after volley. And Buck did also a really good job positioning his ships as well to help create that anti-missile umbrella that was set up. Now, as you can see, I did do quite well in this game, 7,200 points, only 1,955 points in losses, so definitely very well done. Sovereign got a lot of kills. Look at all these plane kills. This is the power of the Sovereign. He's able to shoot down a lot of planes that were safe to be able to intercept it. And a number of ships as well. So well done, everyone. This has been a Wargame Red Dragon replay. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next video. So goodbye.